update. My name is Alejandro Zambrano and I'm the Global Chief Market Strategist with ATFX and also the editor of investingcube.com. We're going to take a look at the markets, talk a bit about what's going on. Stock markets, at least in the early morning, had a very nice push, nice move. Indeed, we can look more into the different levels. So we'll begin with the currency markets as we usually do here. And as well, if you do have any questions, you're most welcome to just put them in the chat box. In fact, let's actually go right now and see if anybody's there. You're most welcome as well, of course, to say just hello if you don't have any questions. And if you're totally new to this, is a daily market update that we host here early in the morning, 9:30 to about 10 a.m. Okay, so we have no one here just yet. So we'll begin in the meantime, and we'll take a look at the Euro USD. And you can clearly see here how this market is bearish, but in the short term it's bullish, right? The market traded below support, went upwards and then down, and I wanted this to trade slightly higher before turning lower. And this reversal pattern is mirrored in some other markets, like for example the dollar index, which is looking like this. See if I can load that for you and you'll see what I'm referring to. So you have the dollar index here on the daily chart, and you can see how this whole market is being guided by this upward sloping channels from the Sanders pitchfork. And the price pretty much almost reached a lower level. Obviously failed to go all the way down, but went down first on October 18th, then all the way up, and then all the way down, did the double bottom, and effectively took out that level. This market could easily go down, say 50% or something like that, but the indication here, and it's also the divergence a bit on the RSI, it's all telling me that the dollar is probably going to come back. As long as you're above these levels, this is probably going to go down and then probably upwards. That would result in the Euro USD most likely just going up and then probably trade lower. As for the pound is in the buy area right now, and there's nothing wrong if you want to trade long pound and short Euro USD whenever we get that opportunity. Effectively, you trading the euro pound, depending on the trade size, you would of course apply there. And this could also be a bet if you don't believe that the dollar is going to gain. If you think that the dollar is going to weaken, this is a bet like that. A few weeks ago, the market was here, and I said the market is probably going to try to bottom out, which it did. It went up, not by much, but it went up. And yeah, it's looking overall bullish. If we continue here and we look at the next market, this is the dollar versus the Japanese yen. And the dollar versus the Japanese yen is also looking interesting. The overall trend is bullish, and on a break to 109.31, then that would cause that major inverse head and shoulders pattern, which you can see on the daily. That would trigger that. You have a big inverse head and shoulders with a head, left and right shoulder. The market already tried to trade higher last week, but didn't really manage. Stock markets, as you know, are really bullish as well. And it also tells us and indicates that we're probably going to trade higher in the next few weeks here in the dollar yen. Here, there are different things we can do. We can either buy the pullback here, which is something we can do. Risk-reward ratio is reasonably good here. Obviously, this does not guarantee a breakout, but the overall trend does suggest we're going to have a breakout. The alternative is just to wait for a break to 109.31. The next market, which is the price of crude oil. Let me check here. Just give me a second as well. Having a bit of issues. There we go. Sorry about that. The overall trend here is bullish, about 53.71. So that's support. And as you can see, the market went all the way up. We talked about buying here. We also talked about buying here. And when we moved up here, we touched that upper end of the channel. The market can, of course, take out that level because we are dealing with an uptrend. But the preference is to wait and look for a 50% correction, maybe down to 55, 57 down here. That will be a much better opportunity because your risk reward ratio is going to be much better here, or maybe even a little bit lower, and just being bullish about 53.71. As for gold prices, they're pretty much just trading sideways, boosting 14.73 and 15.18. And as you can see here, when the market trades sideways like this, you can have either a bullish breakout or a bearish breakdown. It's very straightforward. You just need to wait for that break. As for stock markets, S&P 500 took a leap higher today, and the trend is bullish above 3012.6. And the market is up here because the German DAX and companies within the German DAX are bullish. Okay, so that is why this is going upwards. But my preference here is still to buy on a dip, and this little spot here is this level here. Last time I said to you guys to buy on a dip was when the market was here, so you can buy here if you wanted to. That one played out fine, and we also talked about buying dips down here. Going forward, let's take a look at the German DAX. German DAX is also looking really, really interesting, and the market is obviously moving upwards. And here we talked about buying here and booking profits here. But today, you know, things Lufthansa and Siemens, they're surging, and that is causing this market to go substantially higher. Now, if I will focus on the big picture, I will still focus on buying maybe some of the US stock indices. I think that makes more sense. And here we need a little bit of a pullback. I don't really trust the slow too much. But if you're feeling left behind and you have your short-term trading scalping strategy, then there's nothing wrong working with maybe 13,112 as the trend defining level, and then looking for a little pullback and then going upwards again. The next interesting target here is 1,300, where we almost are, followed by 13,390, which is the actual next natural level, which is a high. Beyond that, all-time high, not for too far away. And I think that's pretty much it. We can take a look at Bitcoin. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. So this is Bitcoin. It's not too much activity here. Big picture remains bearish, as you can clearly see here. And you got the October high at 10,355. And in the very, very short term here, the price is just trading sideways like that. One of my colleagues showed this little chart today, saying that we're looking into some sort of a triangle, and with a break to the downside here, potentially opening up further declines, which makes a lot of sense. If you like to trade triangles, that is. Other stuff which is interesting as well. I just saw this. Ripple is down 6% today. Ethereum as well, down a bit today, but not by much. Okay, let's see if you guys have any questions. So we got a Quoron that says GBP news, please. And then we have good morning from UK Kenny, and Daniel Chung as well saying good morning. So UK news, please. Is there anything specifically that you're looking for today? I do think that we do have some, obviously, silly question. It's a Thursday. So we have the central bank rate meeting today, right? And the general outlook for the pound is the following. They're not gonna cut interest rates, even though we had a mild recession in the third quarter. The economy contracted with 0.2%, which is not by a lot. We've seen across the world some of the economic indicators bouncing back a bit. We've seen stabilization. But what we also know is that the ECB cut interest rates. The Federal Reserve's cut interest rates many times. And also the Chinese have been cutting interest rates. So everybody's been cutting interest rates, and get the Australians and New Zealand's central banks as well. Obviously, we haven't seen that in the UK, and there are several reasons for that. Firstly, they want to have some ammunition and power to influence the market if we have a hard Brexit. The second thing as well is that inflation is actually quite high in the UK. and it was much higher. And if they would start to cut interest rates, that's just going to cause the pound to weaken, and that's just going to create higher inflation, which is actually something you don't really want to see, because inflation was really, really high in the aftermath of the referendum, because we saw that big slide in the pound, and imported food, for example, is now much more expensive than before, so they don't want to see that. But some people are saying now, because everybody else is cutting interest rates, you might have a few of the 9 members of the Bank of England starting to look for a rate cut. And that's what you were looking for today. You will look for maybe 1 or 2 suggesting, well, we need a rate cut. If we have that, then that could cause a bit of weakness in the pound, and we could potentially see the pound weaken in a bit. And that's really what I will be focusing on. And that could easily potentially cause the market in the GBP USD to slide below support, which is this level here. So you might wonder, why did I not remember from the very beginning that there was Bank of England rate meeting day? The reason for that is that the Bank of England hasn't really done too much at all lately, and they literally sort of done nothing really because of Brexit, and that's really why I didn't remember it from the get-go. Okay, let's see if you guys have any questions. So we don't have any more questions, which is fine. We're going to wrap things up. I'm going to be back as usual tomorrow, and I'm going to try to be in slightly earlier at 9:30 a.m. London time. So you're most welcome to join me here at the Investing Cube channel. It's very straightforward. You can just bookmark this. I also do suggest that you follow the ATFX channel. Just click on the subscribe button up here. That will give you messages when we have uploaded new videos. We do have a video here that I uploaded yesterday, and it's about the New Zealand Central Bank rate meeting that's going to happen on November 13th. So you can check that out. I take a look at the Australian dollar versus New Zealand dollar as well, to give you guys some ideas on how to potentially trade that event. Okay, guys, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow, same time here on investingcube.com and on the ATFX YouTube channel. Thank you, and bye-bye.